views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Welcome to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. Each week, you'll learn how to navigate the global shift of consciousness and explore the deeper knowledge within. Welcome home. Now here's your host, Dr. Kelly Neff.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Kelly Neff, and you are listening to Lucid Planet Radio on Transformation Radio, CRN Digital Talk, and WBLQ 1230 AM, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New York. Stay with us for the next hour and let us help you experience healing, inspiration, and knowledge. Every week on Lucid Planet Radio, we have some of the most gifted and amazing scientists, healers, speakers, and authors helping you to become the greatest version of yourself. You can find out more at thelucidplanet.com, and you can stream all of our podcasts for free on lucidplanetradio.com, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Just search for Lucid Planet Radio. You can also connect with me on Facebook and Twitter by searching for The Lucid Planet with Dr. Kelly, and I'm also now on Instagram, so you can follow the daily happenings of my life through pictures at The Lucid Planet. We are also available really in more places now than ever, thanks to our new expansive partnership with CRN Digital Talk, bringing us to over 11 million homes in the United States and over 100 countries, including 25 stations just in Australia. We are streaming on AHA, Roku, Apple TV, and more, and we will be coming soon to my home city of Denver. So stay tuned. You can visit our website to find out how to listen, how to get on the show, how to become a sponsor or advertising partner at thelucidplanet.com. And I also am looking forward to seeing my local Colorado community next weekend at Sonic Bloom Festival in Spanish Peaks County, where I will be speaking on sex and consciousness. So stay tuned for that. Lots of exciting stuff in store. And today's show is also something that is very exciting and very important to me and very important to many of our listeners, which is the idea of self-mastery. If you've never heard the term before, self-mastery is really the ability to kind of take control of one's life, be present and aware of oneself without being blown around by our feelings, our emotions, circumstance, other people, expectations. Essentially, through self-mastery, we can accept ourselves as we are, and we can recognize that we are not our thoughts. We are more than just our thoughts. But how do we do this? How do we release a lifetime of conditioning to really accept our authentic selves? How do we stop placing our expectations on people, situations, and then feeling disappointed when our life doesn't meet these expectations? How do we find unconditional love for ourselves and other people? Now, these are really kind of complex, deep questions, and perhaps they can't all be addressed in an hour-long show, but at the same time, it's really important to have a dialogue about this and to have goals to reach that level of self-mastery. And I certainly do, but I am not ashamed to admit that I am constantly making mistakes and constantly learning. And this is why I'm really delighted today to welcome author Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. to the show. And he is going to lend us some insight on self-mastery, personal freedom from the ancient Toltec wisdom perspective. A little bit of background here on our guest. When he was only 14 years old, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. apprenticed to his father, Don Miguel Sr., and his grandmother, Madre Sarita, to learn how they manifested their intent to heal people, both on the physical plane and the spiritual plane. And he trained with his father after 10 years of apprenticeship, and his training culminated one day in his kind of mid to late 20s, where his father, Don Miguel Ruiz Sr., sent him out into the world and said, "Find your way out, go home, and master death by becoming alive." I love that. And for the past 6 years, Don Miguel Jr., he has been applying these lessons learned from his father and grandmother to enjoy his own personal freedom while achieving peace with all of creation. He's a Nagual, and he is finally ready to kind of pass this wisdom down and the tools from his family's traditions. And along with his father, Don Miguel Sr., and his brother, Don Jose Ruiz, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. leads workshops, retreats, and power journeys to help other people achieve their own personal freedom and optimal physical and spiritual health. So I am so excited to welcome Don Miguel Ruiz to the show today. How are you, Don Miguel? Welcome.
Hi, Dr. K. How are you doing? Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's truly an honor and a privilege. Thank you so much.
It's
How
wonderful.
Are you?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. It's summertime.
Yay.
This is a great time to do the work. And so I'm very curious. You come from this very auspicious lineage. What does it mean? I said that you are a Nagual. Can you explain to our listeners what that means?
Sure. Well, we have three definitions for the word Nahuatl, which is a Nahuatl word. And it would translate to these three things. One is a spiritual teacher. Second, a spiritual guide. And the third one, and the one we use the most, is that it's the energy that animates matter. You can say Nahual is the energy that gives life to this body. It's the energy that gives life to this mind. You can call it intent, you can call it will, you can call it life, spirit, soul, the authentic self, God, life. It's basically, that's what we know as Nahual. Nahual is the thing that moves the tonal. Tonal is a Nahuatl word that in English means matter. So it's like the laws of physics. In order for an object to move, there needs to be a force that moves that object. Well, that object in Nahuatl is tonal, and the Nahual is the energy that moves the tonal, that moves matter. So I am life. So to me, that's what a Nahual is. It's just a word that describes the authentic self. And I'm a living being that can go in any direction in life. I'm the infinite possibility because I'm alive.
I love that. Does everybody have that? Is everybody
Yes.
a Nagual?
Well, yes, you are a Nahual as well. You just have to be aware of it. That we
Yes.
are alive. Just like we are all Toltecs. Now, mind you, the word Toltec is a Nahuatl word that means artist. If I translate the phrase, the Toltec art of transformation, into 100% English, it means the artist path of transformation. And we are artists. The canvas for our art is our life. And the instruments we use to create that art is this body, this mind, is the intent that animates this body, our yes and our no.
That's amazing. I actually didn't know that was the direct translation for the word Toltec. And of course, you were raised in this Toltec Nagual tradition. Now, I have to know, what was it like having Don Miguel Ruiz Sr. as your father? I mean, did you have that kind of like urge to have that adolescent rebellion? It's fathers. Yeah. You did.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yes. Well, I growing up in this family has been a wonderful experience, mostly because I love every single member of them. So I have that bond of being with people I love. And my grandmother was the figurehead of the family. She was the spiritual leader of the family. And I learned spirituality through her and because of her. And growing up with Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of the Four Agreements and all those wonderful books and teachings, is that I got to witness the transformation of my father. We remember Dr. Miguel Ruiz, the neurosurgeon, general surgeon, and he was quite different. He was young. He was in his 20s, and he enjoyed the party. He enjoyed the gauge. Then he became. Then he had an aha moment. He let go of his medical practice and began to apprentice with my grandmother. And probably those two things phased into each other. It wasn't a clear cut. And his parenting skills changed. Then as he became a teacher, he changed the way he parented us. And then he became Don Miguel Ruiz. And his teachings were different in the sense that he allowed more action-reaction to happen. It allowed us more time to have the consequences of our own action. So I got to see the different phases of Don Miguel Ruiz and the different forms by which he raised children was different because of each stage he was in his own path and his own journey. Mm-hmm. Now, did I rebel? Oh, of course. I think that's a family tradition. My grandmother rebelled against the tradition. My father rebelled against the tradition. And I rebelled. My grandmother rebelled in her own unique way. She didn't want to be a part of it, but then she had an aha moment, and she began to practice it through faith healing. My father he rebelled against it in becoming a doctor of man of science, and then he had an aha moment, and he let go of that. I wanted to be. I worked as a filmmaker. I worked in film industry in Los Angeles, throughout California, and I had my own little aha moment, and I changed too. But when the 4 Agreements came out, I picked up the book. 3 chapters into it, I put it down because it was my dad telling me what to do all over again. But then a few years later, when life happens, when I graduated from college and the bubble burst, I picked it up and it was reflecting life, because life is the real teacher. Life is the one that teaches us the consequences of our own choices, the consequences of our own actions, both positive and negative. And you can say that's when my rebellion ended, when I began to understand him as my peer.
I think that's really powerful. And I am definitely an ascriber to the belief that this is this kind of school of life where we're learning these lessons, and everybody in our family, everybody that we're close to, we all take on these roles almost karmically, that we take on these roles that we're going to teach each other the difficult lessons. And it's just such an interesting perspective to have your father, this like inspirational spiritual leader, and then you're like, well, don't tell me what to do, Dad. And I think many of us can relate to that. But then through that process, we kind of come back together, and then we find ourselves and we realize the importance of that connection, and that he was always going to be that foil for you until you were able to kind of integrate that perspective. And that's really powerful and beautiful. We're going to take a quick break right now. And when we come back on Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly, we are going to explore what it means to find mastery of self with Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. So stay with us, and we will be right back.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran Access Consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere, with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune in to Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Darter.
And I'm Steve Kramer.
Join us on Spirit Fire Radio. Discover how to add the mechanics of meditation to your day.
And watch yourself connect in a whole new way. Find the amazing moments in life's routines that often pass us by. Add to your awareness with Spirit Fire Radio.
Tune in each Wednesday at 9 a.m. for your weekly guide to practical mindfulness. And to learn more, visit www.spiritfireradio.com.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving. Even in the face of adversity, say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
We are back on Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly, and my guest today is Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., who is talking with us about the Toltec secrets to personal freedom and self-mastery. But before we continue, I just want to make sure that everybody knows how to contact you, Don Miguel, to find more about your book, workshops, retreats, power journeys, etc.
Sure. Well, you can find me at my home base, which is miguelruizjr.com. That's miguelruizjr.com. Someone recently asked me to add that part because it's JR. And that's my home base. You know, we have social media and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that kind of thing. I follow you on Instagram page.
I saw that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I saw that. I got excited. I follow you too.
Yeah,
and you can follow both of us.
Exactly. Well, I like the Instagram. I'm actually liking it better than both Twitter and Facebook.
Me too.
Liking it better. It's a lot less noise.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely. No, I agree. It's totally.
But my home base is miguelruizjr.com, and as well as my dad is miguelruiz.com. That's where you can find the whole family.
Perfect. And you guys do all kinds of journeys, like workshops, retreats. You were telling me about this power journey that you guys take to Teotihuacan.
Yeah. We take. I've been going since I was 14 years old. That's how long my dad's been taking me. Part of my rebellion was against going to Teo for a long time, and little by little, I began to really like it and understand it, and to the point where now, where me and my brother are taking people, and we're doing one this New Year's Eve. We're doing a power journey there. And my dad will be joining us on that one as a special guest. And it's still that moment where, you know, Teotihuacan is this ancient city of our ancestors, but at the same time, it's in a design where it's also a school, and it basically shows the divinity of the human journey. You know, it starts with the temple, the pyramid of the moon, and it goes down to the pyramid of Quetzalcoatl, which means hell. And basically, it's connected by the Calzada de los Muertos, which is the path of the dead. But that path really represents the journey that a human being has, you know, from the moment of conception of that divinity that comes with us, and how we descend into the dream of the planet and we get lost in the dream of the planet, and how we slowly come back, and the journey that we do, that as we begin to let go of domestication of conditional love, and we begin to reconnect with ourselves. You know, some people will call it the higher self. I just simply call it ourselves. And we begin to discover not only our divinity, but who we are and what we are. And little by little, during that trajectory, you can say it could be a lifetime journey, and we do it in 3 days. Wow. But mostly because that's how much time we usually get, 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
But to a lot of us, like my brother would say, that's basically the time to work. But the real journey starts when we all go home, because that's when the real power journey starts. The putting into practice, and practice is what makes the master.
Yes, absolutely. And so, while we're on the topic, what does it mean to be a master of yourself?
To me, as myself, you know, is to love myself unconditionally. And what that means to me is the willingness to see myself exactly as I am, to not pretend to be something I am not. It starts with that. You know, part of that journey that I described to you in Teotihuacan is to become aware of the fog that surrounds us, that doesn't allow me to see beyond the tips of our nose. And then we do all this work to dissipate that smoke. And then little by little, we put it into practice, and we begin to see how we can heal the wounds that fog created, that smoke created, which is of course conditional love. We begin to heal the body. We begin to heal the emotional body, which allows us to heal the relationship within ourselves. That relationship that, the way my dad would describe it, if I'm the one who's thinking, who's talking? Sorry. If I'm the one who's talking in my mind, who's listening? I am. Well, if I'm the one who's listening, who's talking? I am. And that's the relationship within myself. That's, you can say, mind and body talking to one another. That's the internal dialogue, the internal relationship with myself, a relationship within me. If that relationship is in disharmony, meaning that conditional love rules, then I will never see myself for who I am. I'm always going to try to be something I am not, and the illusion is there. But then I begin to heal that wound, and that's where unconditional comes in. I begin to heal the conditions. I begin to heal the wounds. I begin to heal the relationship, and I begin to awaken. And as I begin, I realize that I'm not alone. I'm surrounded by the people in my life, which means if I'm the constant in every relationship I am in. If I have conditional love for myself, then I've got nothing but conditional love to give.
Yes.
But if I begin to love myself unconditionally, then I'm going to become the constant opportunity for unconditional love in all my relationships. And then you realize one thing: just as I'm able to heal the relationship within myself, I'm able to heal the relationships with the people in my life. And also you see where the mastery of self really comes in. The truth is that I only control to the tips of my fingers. I don't control the will of anyone else in my life. I don't control the will of my mom, my father, my wife, my children. I don't control them either. I don't even control the way they perceive, but I engage with them. I only control to the tips of my fingers. That allows me to respect them, which simply means that I'm able to share with them the respect I have for myself, that I respect my own capacity to say yes, to say no. And that allows me to respect their capacity to make their own choices and to experience the consequences of making their own choices. But that's the beauty of it. I'm a co-creator, not this force that imposes my will or subjugates my will to someone else's point of view. So the mastery of self is basically mastering my unconditional love for myself, which is the willingness to see myself just the way I am. And love is that energy that gives strength to our bond. It's the thing that allows us to create a bond with people, with life, within myself. And that energy can be either limited by conditional love, that you can only experience that if you live up to an image, and only if you live up to that perfect image, or you have it unconditionally, which simply means we allow it to flow like a river without any dam, any restraint. We allow that energy to flow. So with that is the willingness to see myself, which allows me to see my wife, my kids, my parents as the people they are. It's the thing that allows me to see their humanity. Instead of just seeing the mask of my wife,
right,
I take it off and I see Susan. I take off the mask of my children, I see Audrey and Alejandro. If I take off the mask of my mom and dad, I see Miguel and Maria. I see human beings living their life as unique as they are living it. And to respect their will is to respect my own. That allows me to engage them. You know, our relationships only exist while we say yes to it. For example, a relationship with my wife. The relationship between she and I only exists while we both say yes. If she says changes her mind, turns into a no, or I say no, that relationship ceases to exist. But while we're both alive, we're saying yes to one another. And the only thing that will exist in our relationships are the things both she and I says yes to. If she says no to something or I say no to something, it will not be a part of this relationship, because we're not going to use the energy that animates this body, that animates this mind to manifest it. Which means that the only things that will exist in our relationship are the things we both say yes to. And that's what makes us co-creators. Yeah. And she's my equal. And the reason why she's my equal is because she is alive at the same time as I. And because we're both alive, we can go in any direction in life. So the master of self is becoming aware of who I am, the willingness to see myself And practice is what allows me to become that master, the master of loving myself unconditionally, which allows me to share that with the people in my life.
I think that what you're really painting a picture of very much like freedom and liberation.
Yeah.
From so many areas, from people kind of imposing or subjugating their wills onto us, and then also personal freedom to remove these masks.
Yes.
And I want to talk more about the mask, because it seems to me that the way that we actually practice being masters of self is by becoming more present and aware of the fact that we take on all of these numerous roles that don't really equate to who we truly are.
Yeah, most definitely. We believe we put on a mask that our family or society has put onto us, and we domesticate ourselves with that model, with that image, with that identity.
Yep. You talk about in the book Mastery of Self, which everyone, it's fantastic. Don Miguel talks about domestication, and this is very akin to like the psychology terms of conditioning, the idea that we are taught by society how to act and how to behave, and we internalize that, and then we kind of hold that over ourselves, and it does almost imprison us until we can kind of learn to release that. And we're going to talk more about this. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back on Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly, Don Miguel Ruiz, and we are going to discuss the practice of how we forgive ourselves, how we remove the mask, and kind of how we can connect more deeply to that unconditional love for ourselves and other people. So stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Awaken to your radiant, authentic self. For over 15 years, Soul Purpose Advocate Nancy Monson has been focused on leading change in the lives of those looking to live their true purpose. She is devoted to supporting people in living a soul-directed life every day. Let Nancy help you overcome fear, worry, and doubt. Visit everydayspirituality.com to learn how Nancy can be your Soul Purpose Advocate.
Tune in to the Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit jenroyster.com for more information.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving. Even in the face of adversity, say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
We are back on Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly, and I am here with Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., who is talking with us about the mastery of self. And Don Miguel, when we left off, we were talking about how we can imprison ourselves by taking on different roles and different masks and taking on other people's domestication. You discuss in the book Mastery of Self about how it can create this fog where we can't truly see who we are. And there's a practice involved here. And I guess my question for you is, how do we begin to kind of cut through this conditioning, the domestication, the mask, to actually connect to our essence as Nagual?
Well, it comes with a moment of clarity, a moment of accepting the truth when it's presented before us. Someone once asked me, when did we lose sight of our authentic self? And the answer is when we prefer the illusion or the lie over the truth. And the reason why we prefer the lie or the illusion over the truth is because that's what we know. It's the only way we've ever learned how to be who we are or accept ourselves or even love ourselves. So it's really hard to let go of the illusion or the lie. But the best way to let go of it is when we accept the truth when it's presented before us. A moment of clarity, like a drug addict or alcoholic has a moment of clarity. They become aware of what they've created. And in that moment of clarity, you have a choice. You can either choose to let go or you can choose to continue the illusion. It's like a moment of clarity without any action is just a thought that passes in the wind. But a moment of clarity that's followed by action becomes a pivotal moment in our life. And in that moment, we have a choice. And since we're using the Toltec tradition here, we can use the instrument of the fifth agreement, which is my dad's great work. And it's called Being Skeptical But Learn to Listen. Now, being skeptical is not going, la, 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 I can't hear you, putting my fingers in my ears and all going, la, 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 la. No. Skepticism simply means I'm going to withhold my yes and I'm going to withhold my no. I'm going to stop my will, in a way of saying yes and no, and I'm going to listen. And as I listen, I'm able to reintroduce my reason, which allows me to give scrutiny to what I perceive. If it survives my scrutiny, I'll continue to say yes to it. If it doesn't, then I'm able to let go of it, to say no to it. Because you see, for as long as I'm alive, I'm able to change a yes into a no or no to a yes because I'm able to express my will. A belief only exists for as long as I say yes to it. It's the same energy I use to move my arms, to move my legs, the same energy I use to create a thought. Thus, a belief only exists for as long as I believe it. And as soon as I cease to believe it, it no longer exists. So our conditioning, our domestication is based on ideas and beliefs that we believe in more wholeheartedly, but they are the same conditions that, makes us distort everything. So in order to let go, the willingness to listen, to perceive life, and to introduce scrutiny to what we believe in is the thing that allows us to begin to see the separation between me and my creation, which is my thoughts, my beliefs, my agreements. And if it survives my scrutiny, I'm going to continue to say yes to it. But if it doesn't, and I see how it's impacted my life, how its ramifications have led me to this, and that. Most importantly, how my pain, my suffering, my judgments, my own rejection, then I can begin to let go of it if that's what I want to do. If I no longer want to have that in my life, I'm able to let go of it and to forgive myself for ever saying yes to it.
Yes, this is such an empowering perspective because I feel like I've been through this in my life of believing I was someone else or something I wasn't, because I was told that for so long and I didn't really question it. And you do, when you have that moment of clarity, some people call it like a spiritual awakening,
Yep.
whatever. But you do actually have to kind of make peace with yourself that you allowed it to happen. And I believe from a psychological perspective, so many people cling on to situations, relationships, ideas that don't serve them because they're so afraid of having to admit that they were wrong and having to forgive themselves.
Because if they're wrong, then they're worthy of the punishment. And that's the result of domestication. If you live up to the expectation, you get the reward. And since we're emotional beings, that reward feels like acceptance. It feels like love, which means when we don't live up to the expectation, we get the punishment and we don't get love. So what you're describing, all of a sudden, I'm wrong and all those negatives, sometimes we don't want to feel them because we know that they're attached to the punishment that goes along with it. And we don't want to feel that spur.
No, exactly. Even though that doesn't exist, like you said, the second you stop believing in that punishment, or the second you stop believing in anything that doesn't serve you anymore, it ceases to exist. And this is such an empowering perspective that you bring, because it really does value the freedom of choice that we must, and thereby we also must be accountable for what we've created in our lives. We can't blame anybody else for the situation of our lives. We have made every decision that has brought us here.
Yeah, because we are the ones who give power to our domesticators. We're like, someone can domesticate me, and even when they stop, we can continue to domesticate ourselves by continuing to believe them, by continuing to agree with it. First, and it's like Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make me feel inferior without my permission. Well, we've allowed not only someone, but a belief to make us feel inferior for all those times. And to forgive us is to accept the truth. This is how I've used my intent. This is how I've engaged it. And to let go, well, that's where forgiveness comes in. I forgive myself and I forgive them. And can they forgive me for ever using them? The permission ends right now.
The forgiveness part is really hard. I mean, but you know what's interesting? There's scientific research showing that forgiveness is linked with much better health outcomes, the ability to let go and to forgive. Do you have any advice for listeners of how to begin this process of forgiveness?
Well, you first begin to understand what forgiveness is. For a lot of times, most people don't want to forgive because you think that you're giving them permission, or that you agree with what they're doing, or that you're validating their action. No, forgiveness is not that. You can forgive someone and still allow them to have the consequences of their own choices. Sometimes you see mothers who are the mother of a victim, and they forgive the assailant of their child, but they still are going to suffer the consequences of their choice, meaning they're going to go to jail or suffer the experience. The thing about what forgiveness is that I'm no longer going to use you to create poison in me that is going to make me hate you.
Yes.
I stop that. Like, I am going to allow you to have the consequence. I'm going to pray for you, but I am no longer going to use this to bring that poison, that emotional poison, into my heart. Poison that I'm really aiming for you, but because I can't do anything to you, I'm going to take it myself, and I'm going to hate you, resent you. And that's when you carry the weight. That's where you carry the weight of our ancestors. That's when we carry the weight of something that went wrong in our teens, or when we were kids, or ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend. When we forgive them, then all of a sudden we see things from all points of view. Like an example would be me and ex-girlfriend of mine back in high school. We both loved each other so much, but in my blindness and in her blindness, we hurt each other pretty good. And
I can relate.
we had rancor. We were angry at each other. We tried, because we still had love for one another, not romantically, mind you, but we had that attraction that first brought us back in. And we try, and every time we try, we hurt each other. Well, eventually, I accepted the truth, and I'm like, you know what? I forgive you. But in that forgiveness, I also see what I did. It's the first time I saw it from her point of view. I listened to her words, and I'm going, of course. My behavior was right. I know and I saw it from her point of view, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I am remorseful for that, and you know, I see it from your point of view, and we both began to heal. We both had the consequences of our actions. Obviously, we broke up. That's the consequence.
Yes.
And we weren't coming back together like the Taylor Swift song, which my daughter plays over and over. One day I'll have to explain to her what that really means. But basically, it's that moment where, you know, we do admit that we want to be in each other's life, but we're not going to be that way. But we want to clear this poison.
Yes.
And we begin to forgive ourselves. And in that forgiveness, we see it. I saw it from her point of view, and she saw it from my point of view. And it was the first time we both admitted to each other how much we love one another, but the actions were created, and there you are. And then we both started saying, thank you. Thank you for that time. Thank you for the happiness and all that kind of thing. And we're good. We cleaned the relationship. We are not together, obviously. I don't want to go back. But what allows us is that we brought peace.
And it doesn't have power over your future.
No. In fact, the way it impacts it is that it allows me to clean the wounds that would impact my relationships. That's what I began to realize. That lack of forgiveness began to poison other relationships.
Yes.
It began to impact my future ex-girlfriends, and they're ex-girlfriends for a reason. But right now with my wife, it's all those lessons. It's cleaned them up. You can say that my wife at this moment has the best version of me because I've learned from every mistake I've ever made.
Absolutely.
And forgiveness is letting go of that poison, because if I don't forgive, then that poison is going to come into this relationship and contaminate it.
Yes.
And it did when I was young, and little by little it began to heal, because once that poison's no longer there, then I don't have the need to share that poison because it's not there.
See, and this is how we empower ourselves to be free and be happy and live the best possible lives that we can while we're here.
Yeah. While we're alive, anything is possible, especially cleaning up the wedges that created a separation between us and the people in our life.
Yes. And so just to our listeners out there, it's never too late to forgive and to heal. It doesn't matter how much it hurt you or how long it's been going on. You still have that power within yourself to clean that wound.
No, the only thing I would add is that there's a difference between I have to and I want to. If you feel like you have to, then you're just recreating the cycle. But the difference, if I want to, and if you're not ready to forgive, then that's the truth. It's all about breaking the cycle of domestication. If you're not ready, you're not ready. And that's honoring yourself.
Yes.
But when you're ready, you know the steps to let go of the poison. And that's being honoring yourself. The difference between I have to and I want to.
Bam. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we will wrap up the show with Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. talking about self-mastery, personal freedom, free will, and I think we're really going to focus as well on unconditional love. So stick with us, and we'll see you in a few.
Do you want to achieve your goals? Do you want to strengthen relationships with others? Do you want to improve your financial status? Colette Marie Steffen is partnering with Mark Kettenbach to bring you an energetic upgrade online experience. Unfold and develop your full potential. Visit energeticupgrade.com today for more information. That's energeticupgrade.com.
Are you and your family looking for one manageable lifestyle change that will positively impact your health? Look no further. That change begins inside your drinking glass. Learn how to put a lid on junk drinking by sipping from a recipe collection of colorful, fresh, tasty, wholesome fruit and vegetable blends. Get your copy now of Sip the Garden. Fun, easy drinks for a healthier family by Steve Carey Mitchell. Visit lifestyle120.com for information on how to order.
Get ready to rid yourself of all that is weighing you down and holding you back from living the life you want for yourself. Coming Clean, The Art of Transparency with Catherine Moss is a hit show for women in recovery who are ready to live life on purpose. Tune in and let Catherine help you live your truth one day at a time. Live each Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Get into it for 2016. Do you want more prosperity, clarity, energy, and balance in your life? Join Lynn Brown now for one of her amazing workshops, each focusing on a key part of living your best life. For more information and to register for one of these amazing workshops, visit lynnbrownevent.com. That's lynnbrownevent.com. And get into it this 2016 with Lynn Brown.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving. Even in the face of adversity, say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
Welcome back to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly. I am here with Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. talking about his new book, The Mastery of Self, the Toltec Guide to Personal Freedom. We just had a really cool discussion about what it means to be able to forgive and how we have free will to decide what thoughts we want to exist in our heads and what we don't. And one thing that Don Miguel has really taught me is about understanding love and the differences between unconditional love and conditional love. And since I started reading the book, Mastery of Self, believe it or not, I have come across several people, like listeners or people on Facebook. You can always send me emails and messages. If you're going through struggles or if you want advice, like I always try to respond. You can email me on my Facebook or just my email, which is drkellyneff@gmail.com. And I've gotten a couple messages from people going through struggles where, Don Miguel, your teaching has directly applied to it. Okay. And it's been so beautiful. And really the issue has been so-and-so person in my life is doing a lot of destructive things and it's hurt me and I've had to get away from them, but I really want to help them and I'm totally torn and twisted up because I don't know what to do. And what I said, and you'd probably agree and have more to say, is that, part of showing them that unconditional love means you allow them to make their own decisions in their life. Mm-hmm. And you hold space for that, even when it hurts to see them doing it. If you try to intervene or control or steer them in a different direction, it's not respecting their agency as a human. Yeah. Do you agree?
Well, yeah, it's the difference between respect and I just forgot the word. I had it on the tip of my tongue. I had the image of poor you. What? That's the expression I associate that word with. Wow, I forgot the word. Well, anyways, respect is, imagine this image of a man drowning in mud, and if you want to rescue him. Mm-hmm. Respect is knowing that they can help themselves, but here's my hand. And the best way to help someone is to stay on solid ground. Because if I jump into that mud, then we're both are stuck, and the only way to get out is for one of us to use the other to propel, which means I'm going to push him further down the mud, or he or she's going to push me down the mud for them to get out. That's respect. That's disrespect. That's the word I'm looking for. That is the lack of respect Oh, poor you. Pity.
Pity.
For pity.
Yep.
I pity you. Meaning by that, I don't respect your capacity to create. I don't respect your capacity to make a choice. I don't respect your capacity. And sometimes we confuse compassion with pity.
Yes.
Compassion is knowing that they can, that they're able to take that step. For example, like, I respect you not to jump in the mud with you, but I'm here for you, and here's my hand if you need my help. And of course, I'm going to help you because that's the drum. For example, with someone with addiction, I'm to disrespect them, to have pity for them, is to carry the weight of their choices. And you say, "Poor you, you can't do it for me. I'll do it for you. I'll carry your guilt. I'll carry your pain. I'll even go to jail for you because I don't think you're able to do it." At that point, you have no respect for this individual. You have complete disrespect. It's pity. Compassion is says, you know what? I know you can make it through, and here's my hand to help you. Like, I don't put my nose where it doesn't belong, because if I put it where it doesn't belong, it's going to get broken.
That's so good.
I'm able to engage. I'm able to respect you, and I'm able to be there to help you. And that is respect. That is love. You know, that's the thing, that sometimes to forgive is expressing that compassion. I know that you don't need this, but here's my hand. Well, I'm going to force it to you. No, forgiveness is simply saying, you know, I honor your choices as I honor mine, and we're no longer going to use it to hurt each other.
That's huge.
But at the same time, I'm here to help you whenever you need it, and I'm here to be there for you. I'm going to be your rock if that's what you need me to be, but I'll only be it if you want me to help you.
Well,
I know you can do it yourself.
What you said about you can offer the hand, but you have to stand on solid ground or you're going to end up in the mud with them, that really struck a chord with me. Because I'm that person, like, I will, like, jump into the, I'll jump onto the sinking ship to try to help and then end up going down in flames with it. I've totally been there.
And then when we go down in flames, we're not able to help anyone. And that's the thing is that we are co-creators, and we are able to help someone. We're able to help so many. And healing is part of our ability to help. If we learn to heal ourselves, we can share that knowledge to how to heal with someone else. For example, everything I'm sharing with you is because I've experienced it in my own life. That story with my ex-girlfriend is, I'm sharing it up to boast. I'm doing it as a form to share with you how one can heal those wounds, because that's what we want. Because we don't want to live life with that pain anymore. No. I respect her choices. I respect my wife's choices. I respect my child. With my child, I see her. And a few when she was 4, we were playing a game of who's going to blink first, and she lost right away. But I kept looking into her eyes, and she says, "Dad, stop looking at me." And I said, "Honey, I'm looking at you because you're beautiful." And she says, "Daddy, no, I am not. I don't have any makeup on." And I'm going,
oh my God.
She's 4 years old and she's learned it. Of course, the reaction is, where did she learn it? Did she learn it from mom? She learned it from TV, her friends? And then it's like, it doesn't matter.
No.
What matters is that all of a sudden I'm tempted to domesticate my girl with saying, you're beautiful just the way you are. And if you want to be in my life, you're going to be. Yep. The temptation is there to domesticate it. So here's the truth. I don't control her perception, but I do control what I'm able to share. So I said, "Honey, you're beautiful just the way you are." It's not a condition. It's just simply saying it.
Yes.
A week later, I said it again, and she says, "Daddy, I know I'm beautiful just the way I am, but makeup makes me look even prettier." I was impressed. She created a counter argument, which means that I don't control her perception. I don't control her will, but I'm able to share with her how I see myself. I'm able to share with her how I love her, how I see her. So in those moments of doubts, when she goes to that doubt and she goes back and she looks back on her life, my voice and what I say to her is a seed. And if one day she decides to believe it and she says yes to it, then that seed will blossom. And that's the strength she has. That's me respecting her. She has all the right to say yes to whatever she wants to say yes to. Of course, as a parent, I'm going to be there to protect her as much as I can, as much as she allows me to. And she's 8 years old, so right now it's easy because she's 8 years old. But to respect her is the same respect I have for my son. It's the same respect I have for my father.
Mm-hmm.
Or the same respect I have for myself.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of really, we're closing in on what that means, what unconditional love really means, which is allowing people that same respect you would give to yourself.
Yeah.
Not
we
trying
give
to
what we have.
control
We can't give what we don't have.
No. Very quickly, because I can't believe we're almost out of time. You said in the book that the opposite of love is love.
Mm-hmm.
And can you elaborate on that? I thought that was really interesting.
Well, yeah, because most of the time we think the opposite of love is hate and anger, but hate and anger and judgment are just the instruments we use to implement the real opposite, which is love. The opposite of love is love. To put it more simply, the opposite of unconditional love is conditional love. That's what it is. One is the truth, and one is the complete distortion of the truth, a reflection that's completely distorted. Unconditional love is the truth. It's that bond that unites us, that brings us together. The distortion of it is our belief of what love should be. And there it is.
Yep, and there it is. Oh, that's so good. I wish we had more time, but for our listeners who are looking for more, please check out The Mastery of Self, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr.'s new book. And you can also find him, as well as me, on the interwebs by searching for us. And there'll be links in this podcast that you're listening to. And on that note, I just want to thank you so much, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., for coming on the show.
Dr. Kelly, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's a real honor, and have fun. Thank you to the whole crew for this.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so
Lucid
much.
Planet. All right.
Yeah, I know. Holla.
Holla.
Holla. And again, guys, you can join us every Wednesday at this time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Mountain, 2 p.m. Pacific. And also, of course, download the podcast for free on iTunes, SoundCloud, and our website, lucidplanetradio.com. And next week, we will have Jacob Devaney of Unify on the show, talking about integrating art, spirituality, culture, and media to enact global change. So we will see you next week. Have a great rest of your day. Light and love.
You've been listening to the hit show, Lucid Planet Radio, with renowned psychologist and author, Dr. Kelly Neff. Tune in each week as we illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. This hit show will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake up to the greatest version of yourself. Learn how to navigate the global shift of consciousness as you explore the deeper knowledge, passion, and purpose within. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for upcoming show topics and to contact Dr. Kelly.